Hello and welcome to this Rivalry Family Media special featuring the Leominster Athletic Hall of Fame, joined by President Frank Steffanides and Director Bob Salvatelli. We're happy to have you along with us here at the gym at Leominster High School. For RFM, I'm Todd Robbins. Tonight we're going to talk a lot about differing aspects as we go through the development, of course, of the Leominster High School Athletic Hall of Fame and some of the different programs they have as well. On this particular special, we're going to talk a little bit about the scholarship program that the Hall of Fame has begun, the scholarship program under the heading of Inspiring Our Future. Gentlemen, you guys have the motto of representing the past and then inspiring the future as well. This scholarship program you guys have founded certainly speaks to inspiring the future athletes of Leominster and trying to help them achieve where they want to go beyond, obviously, the classroom as well.
Well, we started this scholarship a few years ago. A gentleman named Jim Gately approached us on. He's good friends with Bob, and we started way back when, giving a couple $1,000, and it's now $4,000 to $5,000 scholarships we give out to four different two males and two females, and they have to be attending college and complete their first semester, and then they receive the scholarship from us so they can help them out and where they're going. The candidate's been outstanding. We have a committee. We work with the principal. Assistant principal, guidance counselor, and coaches, whoever is of 6 or 8 people on the board, and we look at the nomination forms in April, and we come up with 4 new people.
As you guys look, of course, Mr. Salvatelli, at how things kind of are organized here, Frank mentioned moments ago Mr. Gately and his donation. Member of the class of 1958, certainly has never forgotten where he came from and where he got his start, and that has a lot to do with, of course, how this scholarship got started.
Yeah, Jim was 1 year ahead of me in high school, and I knew him very, very well. He's always been a gentleman and an awful bright young guy. We all knew he was going to do well, not quite as well, because he ended up with the Vanguard group, and he became a vice president of international sales. So the guy has done remarkably well. He's got an MBA from Harvard. He's got an undergraduate degree from Wellesley. He's a terrific young guy. As a matter of fact, he's in the Hall of Fame for football.
Okay.
So that's another accomplishment of him. But he called me, and we met at the Hall of Fame football banquet, and we were talking about our particular venue. And he said he'd be very much interested in it. So we continued to talk about it via emails, and he decided that he'd like us to represent him in giving these scholarships to these young people.
As you guys look at obviously what you do, initially a Hall of Fame is a lot about recognizing accomplishments of people that have played or maybe are currently playing and will one day be recognized by this group. Why is it so important to have this connection with the players that are currently on the floor right now?
Well, I think it allows them to attach to us as a group and understand what we're all about. And eventually down the road, we're going to have to be replacing ourselves. We're all getting up in age, all of us. And it'd be nice to see some of them join us eventually, come back as coaches maybe, come back as people in the community, whatever it takes, and hopefully it works in the long run for them.
These young athletes that we give scholarships to are outstanding young people, both as citizens and as athletes. And the fact that the Hall of Fame group is honoring them gives us a lot of credibility with obviously the public, with the public school system, with everybody involved in this particular project. So I'm thrilled, absolutely thrilled, that we are the governing body of this scholarship.
Well, the other thing, too, is that we give 4 scholarships out. 2 are student-athlete, period. Mm-hmm. And the other 2 are more of a
Blue Pride
Award,
yeah, Blue Pride
which is
Award.
They could be non-starter, but be a great person for the team. And not necessarily a team leader, but just a great person to have on a team. So it's a twofold attack we have on it.
I think it's important to understand where we came from. Jim gave us 2 $5,000 scholarships the first year. Mm-hmm. The Vanguard Charitable Fund became so fluent and it done so exceptionally well. I don't want to call it today, though. I'm not sure what happened
right
today
now,
with this stock market. But basically, it was doing so well, he contacted us again and said, look, I'd like to give more money. So now he's up to $20,000.
Yeah, $4,000 or $5,000.
$20,000. And this is going to last us forever, believe me.
So it's a renewable
It's renewable,
type of situation.
exactly, yeah.
Wow, that's absolutely amazing when you think about it. And of course, talk a little about this Vanguard group and what their mission is, how you guys kind of through Jim got involved with them.
Well, the Vanguard Group itself, everybody knows it's a big money institution, okay? Their assets are $5.6 trillion. This is what they handle,
That's all.
$5.6 trillion.
Yeah, absolutely.
The company in 1997 decided that they would start a charitable organization, and they called it the Vanguard Charitable Group, okay? So if you work for Vanguard and you wanted to give some money to this group, you not only get a tax deferment, you also get the opportunity to give this money once it gets larger in sum to some organization that you want as an individual employee. He was a trustee of this particular, Jim Gale was a trustee of this billion-dollar fund. By the way, to keep it in perspective, it's the fifth largest charitable group in the world. It's given $1.5 billion to charity, and it's given $1 billion to grants. So, I mean, it's a big, big, big thing. And what Jim did was work for it for so many years, and what he did was took money out of his pay, put it into charitable organization, and it got so big that he's willing to share it with Leominster High School. He is such a loyal Blue Devil. It's amazing.
He's a great man.
Very, very good man.
The financial contribution certainly speaks to it, but obviously when you guys have spoken to him about wanting to make this contribution and form this partnership and have these scholarships, what has he hearkened back to about his time here that's wanted him to remain involved?
He loves the community, number one, okay? He played sports. He has his roots here. His sister still lives here. And he comes back regularly for, obviously for happy events and not so happy events. And I've seen him at a couple of these in the last couple of years. He just got strong ties and roots to this community. And he wants to keep it that way.
And the kids appreciate it too. Many of them contact him. John Gove, a couple of years ago, actually drove to his house in Pennsylvania on the way back, he was coming back somewhere, and he stopped in to see him.
No kidding.
Yeah.
So the kids certainly understand that perspective and the importance as well. This is a Rivalry Family Media Leominster High School Athletic Hall of Fame special. Todd Robbins here for RFM, joined by Leominster High School Athletic Hall of Fame President Frank Steffanides, Director Bob Salvatelli, and we're talking a little bit about, of course, the scholarship program, a very important aspect of the philanthropy that this organization does, beyond just recognizing the folks who have achieved in the past with their induction into the Hall of Fame. I know we looked a little bit at some of the requirements along the way. You guys mentioned a 3.2 average, letters of recommendation. What are you looking for first in a candidate for the athletic version of the scholarship, and then we'll talk about the Blue Pride.
I can answer that, I think. We look, first of all, they were a valuable member on the varsity team, okay? They were a solid player on that team. Okay, they could have been a leader. The community involvement is very important. Extracurricular activities in the school are important. The teachers verify the classroom work, and they really have to have a well-rounded background, not just a sport. It's a comment that one, the one about the student athlete one. The other one is a little different.
Their essays generally talk a lot about themselves and what their values are. We've had a number of youngsters that tell about their community service, working in special needs, working for the homeless. I mean, it's just heartwarming, and these kids at Leominster High are just outstanding kids. Students, athletes, they stick out, let me put it that way to you.
I always say to my students when we're talking about obviously writing a letter, whether it's for a scholarship or for college, you've got to get from the applicant pile to the accepted pile. And here it's a very small margin. You're aiming for one of two spots, essentially, or, if you're not a varsity member, those contributor spots as well. So it may be a 2-spot total that you're aiming to ultimately get to. When you're looking down those things and you think about some of the ones that you've read over the years, any of them stick out to you?
A couple of them, one young man had a lot of, he was the only male in the home. He was taking care of his mother and so forth. Remember that one? Yeah. And he ended up WPI playing football. Okay. And I won't get the names of the kid, but he did very well. He fought through the home situation we had. I guess he worked with the football coach on that too when he was playing football up here. So he really was diverse. He had great grades, and just by his home life that he took care of and dealt with, and became a successful college kid. There you go.
One of the candidates stuck out with me was he had a little brother that was special needs, very serious, and basically he was taking care of this kid, his brother, when his mother was working. A couple of times he apparently had told the coach, listen, coach, I can't make it to practice. I have to watch my little brother. It was really heartbreaking, heartwarming. These are kind of kid, how could you not want to do something for him, you know? That's the one that stuck out in my mind, that's for sure.
I think the coaches have really helped these kids too,
Yeah.
so I give credit to the coaches for doing what they do too with the kids.
And of course, when I've sat with this group and I look at the experience around the table, by and large, the folks that sit on this board are former educators with a small, group from the outside that have had other involvement with Leominster High School. Talk about, from a perspective of being an educator, being a former educator, and applying your experience, involved in educational athletics, and then applying it to here, trying to, again, pass that on to future students through these scholarships.
Well, I had an awful lot of pride coming from Leominster High School. I graduated many, many years ago, but I identify very closely with the school. I always have. As a matter of fact, probably closer than my college degrees. And the reason for that is I'm a hometown guy. I'm looking for successful kids in the school to go on and bring back some honor to the community and bring back some honor to the high school. Sometimes, unfortunately, the high school gets a bad rap, and it doesn't deserve it. We don't do enough public relations with it. This is part of it. We're trying to prove to our community, to our citizens, that we have outstanding athletes, outstanding youngsters, and outstanding citizens. And I'm passionate about it. I really am.
Who else sits with you, obviously? Is it the entire board that sits to make these decisions? Is there a small committee? And I know Bob's involved.
Just Frank and I.
Okay.
Yes, us too. We represent our committee, and then there's other people involved from around the school.
Okay.
One of the things, the Blue Legacy Award.
Yes.
Right? This was the one that Jim, and this was a tough one
It's a new one.
to get. Jim had a specific idea how he wanted to be given out, and basically it came down to he wants somebody who plays sports, but does more for the school in terms of blue pride.
Okay.
And he's a bright guy, and he's a businessman, and he wants things done correctly. So we had to come up with what he wanted for the scholarship, and that was basically the type of thing he wanted. He wanted an underdog, somebody who may have not won many games, maybe who was on the bench, but who was absolutely a loyal Leominster High School student. That's basically what he wanted.
So when you look at that series of awards, it's not even so much your athletic contributions
exactly.
other than you're involved.
Exactly.
It's your performance elsewhere in the Leominster High School community.
Exactly. This is this particular scholarship, we let the principal and the guidance office select it.
Basically, yeah.
Okay.
They'll come to us and they'll describe the student that they're giving it to, and then we'll basically give the okay.
A lot of times, one time the principal came up to us, there was two kids vying for scholarships.
Oh, that was a good story.
Remember that?
Yeah, that was a good
And he
story.
spoke up, and one kid was getting a ton of money already. So we genuflected to that and gave it to the kid who needed the money.
An opportunity to be able to spread it around a little
But
bit
that was
more.
This is the student who refused it.
Yeah,
Really?
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
He said, listen, I don't need it.
yeah. And Steve came to us to say, hey, listen,
Give it to somebody else. $5,000.
And that talks a lot about, again, the quality of the types of students
Yeah,
that
exactly.
you're
the
involved in.
kids we have picked, most will go to, like, Gove went to Michigan State, but a lot of kids go to, WPI is a very
Strong.
common school for our applicants to go to.
Engineering right now is a
Yeah,
very
yeah,
important
good so far,
program
yeah.
as you look at there today.
Bioengineering, everything, you name it.
So as you guys start to kind of work your way toward, obviously, we're in the midst of the season of selecting scholarships or what have you, for folks that maybe still can get an application
boy,
in,
please.
at this point in time, your website would be the best place to go for that?
No, you got to see the guidance counselor at the high school.
Okay.
Apply, the application's there.
I'm hoping that parents see this and they talk to the youngster and have them apply for this thing. And we do a very, very nice job of screening. It's interesting. Frank takes his pile, and I'll take my pile, and then we rank them.
Yeah, we get together and talk about it.
We,
Yeah.
we rank them, and we haven't been far off.
No, we're pretty close.
Yeah, very close, in terms of.
Be 1-2-2-1 type thing.
Yeah, exactly. But it's working out well.
And that is something that obviously scholarship's still being accepted this year
Yes,
and
it
for
is,
all
yeah.
years to come.
Yes.
All right.
This is going to be a forever one. Hopefully we want to keep it.
So see your guidance counselor for more information on that and applying for the Leominster High School Athletic Hall of Fame Scholarship, either for varsity athletes and or the Blue Legacy or Blue Pride Award as well. We thank you so much for joining us on this Rivalry Family Media Special and in conjunction with the Leominster High School Athletic Hall of Fame. You can look for more of these coming up online at MediaRivalry.com. Thank you all so much for joining us. So long, everybody.